Okay, babe, you cannot go god awful long talking about the new Lord of the Rings show. We already had a whole episode designated to Lord of the Rings, so I'm going to give you like 15 minutes, okay?
Only 15 minutes?
Yes, only 15 minutes.
But I have a lot of points to make.
Well, babe, we can't talk about Lord of the Rings. This isn't a Lord of the Rings podcast. Like...
But this is a podcast about things that we talk about.
Babe, 15 minutes, please.
This is relevant.
Okay, well, based upon our views, I'm just saying.
Views of what?
I'm just saying. Anyways.
I mean, only our parents watch it anyway.
It's probably true. Very true.
Actually, I don't know if they even watch it.
They probably don't.
They probably just watch our teasers.
Well,
if I can't... Then you only have like a certain timetable for golf.
Okay.
One,
my golf is like what I would talk about my golf is just a fraction of how much you would talk about Lord of the Rings. So, and based upon what happened today, I'm going to talk about it. So I am so sorry. It will come up.
You get 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, fine. I can take 10 minutes and deal with that.
10 minutes to you is 20
Okay, let's
minutes.
just start. You ready?
No.
You're not ready?
We're having this conversation. I need longer than 15 minutes.
Okay, well, when you're ready, come and get me, okay?
Fine, let's just start the show.
No, you need to get your 15 minutes.
I've got
ready.
it. I'm
ready. Are you sure you're ready?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Hey everyone, this is Drew and Erin here. We are excited. Another episode of Golf with Lamar. And No. Okay.
It's another episode of While Our Kids Are Sleeping.
Okay, yes, it's the episode of While Our Kids Are Sleeping. And it is our podcast. And thank you all that are listening and watching. We greatly appreciate it. But I had myself a day and I'm very just excited. And I've been waiting to talk about this. It happened today.
Okay, Golf with Lamar.
Okay.
Go.
If you haven't already, follow me on TikTok and Instagram, Golf with Lamar, at Golf with Lamar. Anyways, very excited today. Not only did I have myself a amazing golf round, I got a new pair of Crocs and I'm wearing them right now. And they're really snazzy. And I would kick one up, but I don't. Right here. Solid.
It's a basic Croc.
But you know what? I'm very excited. And
basic Croc.
I'm only saying it because I know you can't stand them. So, anyways, moving on. So, real quick, Golf with Lamar. I'm Lamar. Sorry.
He's actually Drew. But anyway, so he had a good day at golf.
I did.
And I've given him a timetable to talk about this because he's given me a timetable to talk about something else.
Well, so basically, I went and played some golf today. I had the day off. Fridays, I usually have a pretty much open day. Went to Bartram Trail in Evans, Georgia, and played a round of golf by myself. It was really nice. I kind of needed it because I haven't played in like 2 weeks. And not that, I have to play every week. It was just nice. He
has to play every week.
No. Anyways, but I... had myself a good round. Started off a little shaky. Had a good, second half of the first 9, if you know what I'm talking about. And then had an amazing back 9, last 9 holes. Ended up birdieing twice. And then on hole 17, I drove the green. And what that means is that I teed off. If those that don't understand golf, I'm just trying to help them out. I drove the green, I teed off, and instead of having to use another stroke to get on the green, I did it all in one, which is really impressive. It is a little bit of a shorter hole. It was like 291 yards, but still, I think I drove it almost like right at 300 because the ball went past the hole about like 6 feet. I filmed it. Those that are watching, I might put it up just so you can see where it landed. And
if not, I'm sure you can watch it on Golf with Lamar.
Yeah, TikTok or Instagram. Anyways, but yeah, I went and set up my putt and I putted it and I got my very first eagle. And an eagle means, 2 strokes under from the par. So it was pretty awesome. I was very excited. It wasn't like my hole-in-one that I got. I called Erin.
He didn't call me panting, like sounding like he had just hit somebody with his car.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
My hole-in-one was awesome. I called Erin out of breath because of just the adrenaline, and I ran to the hole.
Not that he was like calling me happy, like, oh, I ran somebody over with a car. That's a happy feeling. He called me like he had done something bad. Yeah. He sounded like he was nervous and afraid, like he had really done something, like, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, dear God, what did you do?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, dear God. And then he told me he hit a hole-in-one, and I'm like falling on the ground in relief that, dear God, he didn't hit somebody.
Which is kind of funny. I would have hit them with the golf cart. So, anyways.
Well, I didn't know you were still at the golf place. I figured you were like in the
golf
car.
Place?
I don't know. The club. The golf course.
There you go. It's wow. Anyways. But yeah,
some of us didn't get to go spend, 5 hours by themselves today.
Yes, and I greatly appreciate that. But you also probably just hung out with Lion on the couch with him, and Saint took a nap. I have photos to prove it. Anyways, so yeah, it was an awesome day, and something else that happened because of that eagle, I broke 80, which means my total score was under 80, which I've never done. I've been working hard at it in the my golf game, and I shot a 79. Now, it wasn't crazy, like I broke it like 75 or 74 or something like that, but I got a 79, and that was the first time. It was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. When he told me he had a 79, I was like, wow, you've never.
Well, it's like I always come home and I'm like, you go like, how'd you do? And I'll be like, shot 91.
I always know when he's had a really good day because he calls me on the way home. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't call me on the way home, then he probably didn't have the best day at golf.
Yeah.
But the weather's changing, and when it gets cooler, he plays better. He doesn't play well in the heat.
No, and I mean, I don't think a lot of people do. I mean, especially this Georgia heat, it's just in South Carolina heat, it's just really, just humidity. It's just really horrible and thick, and you're like drenched in sweat by like the third hole, and so it's just like, I didn't barely sweat, and it was really comfortable. The breeze was there. I played by myself, so I was like in my own pace, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was really nice too, because I called you and I said, yeah, I got an eagle, and you're like, oh, cool. Oh, wow, that's awesome. And then I was like, and I shot a 79. You're like, what? So you were really excited for me. That means a lot. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
But yeah. It was a cool day. And then, came home, hung out with the kids, and then, got some new golf shoes because the ones I have are a little.
They're the same golf shoes. He just bought another pair.
Well, the first pair did me good. I got shot at 79 with them today. So
I was expecting when he opened up this Amazon box that it was going to be like a whole different shoe. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't. It was the same shoe.
Yeah, I was shocked I found them on Amazon. So
it's very anticlimactic.
But yeah, got a pair of Crocs. Got new golf shoes. Got some hair.
I don't know why the Crocs bother me. This, certain things trigger you, and Crocs just like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. They really do bother me.
Yeah, you and Crocs.
We have a bad relationship. I don't know, but they're better than flip flops on guys.
Yeah, I don't even like
flip flops for women. I hate flip flops. I hate the sound of the flip flops, and I don't like how they feel in between my toes.
Gosh, flip flops are just juvenile.
Stop.
Anyway, sorry.
I'm trying to watch what I say because I don't mean things to be rude.
Your words are a little harsher than what I know you're trying to say, but anyways.
I don't mean things to sound rude. I'm just trying to express my complete dislike for something.
Yeah. She really hates Crocs and Nicholas Sparks.
I really hate flip-flops and Nicholas Sparks. I don't hate Nicholas Sparks. That sounds terrible. I don't hate him. I don't enjoy his work. I admire the fact that he is successful.
Let's just stop. You said it. If you go to
he's a successful author. No, he's a successful author, but I don't necessarily enjoy his writing style. There we go. End of conversation about Nicholas Sparks. I don't like flip flops though. Mm-hmm. Crocs are okay. I guess I can understand. I don't necessarily like the way they look, and I give you a hard time about it.
They don't look the greatest, and honest truth, I rarely do wear them outside the house. They're kind of like my house shoe.
If you could though, you would.
Well,
if I didn't make fun of you, you probably would.
I don't know. Maybe. I know I used to wear them all the time on like Wednesday nights when I was hanging out with the youth. So, anyways.
I'm sure they admired your like tenacity to be younger.
Actually, I think they're probably making fun of me.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I was just trying to be nice there so that people didn't think I'm a bad person.
If you ever think that you're cool and you're like, you know what, I'm actually a pretty cool guy, just hang out with a bunch of high schoolers. They'll make you feel like you're not cool at all. Like, I bring up random things and they have no clue what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, you're old enough to be their father. So
stop, I'm not.
If you had a kid at 15.
Which I didn't.
Or 16 or probably 17.
Anyways, apparently Facebook is not cool. Like, and what I mean by that is, like, I literally was hanging out with some of them at the student camp that we were at, whatever. And I was just like, oh, cool. So I made some videos for them. You know, I was there because kind of my purpose of being there and hanging out with some of the students. So I was like, cool. What's y'all's Facebook login for Element? And what's your Instagram? And one of the interns was like, Facebook. And I was like, yeah, Facebook. She's like, we don't post on Facebook. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, Facebook's kind of like for our moms. And I was like, wow. Okay, well.
So I guess what do they do? Just Instagram,
TikTok. I guess Snapchat's still a thing. I don't know.
See, I feel like Snapchat is old.
See, I guess thought it was too.
People still use it, but
see, I have a buddy of mine I play golf with, and all of a sudden I'll look over and he's taking a picture of the ground and then writing, and I'm like, what was that? And he goes, oh, I was just snapping somebody back. I was like, you took a picture of the ground?
I guess
And he's like, oh, it's just a new way to text message or message people. And I was like,
why don't you just text them?
Just get her number. Like,
yeah.
Anyways.
I don't know. What's the difference between having someone Snapchat and their phone number? You can harass them either way.
I will say Snapchat helped me kind of break the ice talking to you.
I guess, yeah. I guess if you're single, Snapchat makes sense. I don't know.
Anyways.
I don't think I really enjoyed Snapchat ever at any point in my life.
I just always felt weird taking a picture of myself to say something.
I did used to take photos of like random things. Yeah. But I don't have enough friends to be successful on Snapchat. Well, my only friend would be like, I can't even think of anybody that I'm friends with that has a Snapchat.
No, I don't know of anybody.
Because all of my friends are upstairs and sleep and they don't have any phones.
What about me?
Oh, well, I mean, that's a giving.
Okay. Well, we're going to move on. I had a great day of golf. It was really nice to go do it. Shot 79, got an eagle, couple birdies.
I had a very unproductive day. I really wanted to clean my car and I didn't get to.
Well, we'll clean it tomorrow.
I'll clean it tomorrow.
So,
Andrew will watch Carolina football and I will clean.
It is football season. We'll get to that. I'm going to let you step in and talk about the subject that you want to talk about. But you know what? I'm going to do something.
Oh, no.
I am going to grab my phone and I'm going to set a timer.
This is completely unnecessary.
It is not unnecessary. It's at 15 minutes, and I'm going to have it right here, and I'll flash it. And for those that are wondering, so if you've listened to a previous episode, we did one all about Lord of the Rings, and they have a brand new show on Amazon that come out, Rings of Power. And Erin was really hesitant to watch it, but we sat down and, bit the bullet and
watched the first two episodes.
Bit the bullet?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. Bit the bullet, watched the first two episodes.
Say that 5 times fast.
No. We bit.
Sorry.
We
bit the bullet and we watched the first two episodes, and I
have a lot to say.
And I've had a lot of people ask me what I think of it, and I hadn't been able to answer them because I hadn't watched it yet. I waited about a week after it came out just because it was busy the night that it came out. We weren't even home.
We had a wedding the next day or something like that.
Something like that. I can't remember.
Or we were editing probably, or Braves was playing or something like that.
No, we were editing because I had to get that video done.
Yeah.
And I wanted to focus on it. So anyways, so I did finally watch it. And before you start my timer, Lord of the Rings is a vast subject, okay? It's a very vast subject. So having one podcast about, like one episode of the podcast about it, does not do it justice.
I understand.
I'm just saying that one episode all about it does not cover it. That's just like...
And we will have multiple times. I think what we will do, this is what we'll do for you. If you agree to this, we'll have this 15-minute segment right now of Well, Erin's thoughts, not plans, theories, whatever, or hopes. Your thoughts were for 15 minutes. And then what we'll do is at the end of the season,
Okay.
at the end of the season, we'll have a whole episode that you can talk about all about the TV show, and you can compare. You can do all the theories you have, the dislikes, the loves. I love this about it.
Okay,
whatever.
Cool. So here's what I'll do. I'll talk about it this episode, and you guys will not hear me talk about it until this season's over, and I do my recap of the whole season and what I thought of it. Unless something absolutely crazy happens and just ruins my desire to want to watch it.
Now, I do want to say we've only watched the first 2 episodes.
And those have been the only 2 that have aired.
No, one aired tonight.
It's tonight, Friday.
It did. The third episode aired tonight. This episode on our podcast probably will be out in about a week or 2. So might have 3 or 4, but we are only going to be speaking. She's only going to be speaking on 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So let's get this started because I believe we are already about 18 minutes into the podcast.
Okay.
And let's know. It says hour and 15. You would have loved that. All right, let's go. And timer started.
Okay, cool. So first of all, like I said, I did watch it a week after it had come out, and so there had already been some reviews on it, some critic reviews, and there had been some audience reviews, and I will say the one thing that I wasn't going to mention, but it's just like been in my head for 3 days and I have to mention it, is I can't honestly understand. Okay, I guess I don't understand it. Is that people are saying that they didn't like the diversity of the cast. And my opinion on that is that when I go outside of my house and I go to the grocery store, or I just go out in everyday life, I'm not looking at the people around me thinking, oh, wow, this is a diverse group of people. I'm not thinking, oh, there's a black man, there's a white man, there's a brown and yellow and purple person. I'm just thinking, wow, there's a bunch of people.
Purple.
You never know. Okay.
You're 100% right.
I'm just saying, you never know.
There's purple people out there.
Probably some blue and zebra print people too. Anyways, not the point. The point is that I'm looking at people as they're just people. They're human beings. They have a soul. They're walking around the world just trying to live and survive just like me. I'm not saying I'm like blind to people having differences. I'm just saying that when you look at people, I don't care what color their skin is or where they were born. I don't care. I don't even notice it. So when someone watches a TV show or a movie and they think, and that's like the first thing that they think about, those are kind of people that I just think they're the problem. They really are. Because if you feel the need to point out race and that you're obsessed with it so much, I think that, you're probably the reason that everybody else is. And I don't understand.
And it really sucks because sometimes they ruin things too.
They do.
And it's just like, hey, I really like this. I enjoy it. Why do you have to criticize it so much to the point it's like, you know what? I don't even care anymore.
Yeah. And Tolkien, the thing about Tolkien is he created this universe, and he did have specific people that he did describe very vividly, and he would repeat himself about this is how this person looked, but he created a universe of people. Do you really think that in his head they all looked the same? They didn't, because even the way he described them, the ones that he did describe, they all looked different. So in my head, when I turned it on and I watched it, I'm just thinking, oh, wow, he's doing a good job, or he's really playing this role right. And like the guy that I guess most people were probably talking about, they were talking about the Hobbits, because there was a lot of diversity in the Hobbits. Yeah. But this show, if you don't know anything about it, it was based in the Second Age. So the way Tolkien created ages and their timeline of the ages is there was never like a specific amount of years that created an age. It was based on historical moments or big historical, I guess that's what I'm saying, like moments or events, historical events that happened. Yeah. So the Middle Earth and all that, he started with the first age in the Middle Earth. Now there are, ages prior to that, like age before the trees, which is when Galadriel was born, and then you have like the actual before time kind of people, like all the wizards were actually created before time, before they even thought about like the names of things. It was kind of just like they were created before time. I don't really know how to explain that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so these ages, the first age ended at the end of, if you watch the show, the prologue is about the War of Wrath, which was the war with Morgoth. And that was the first big war in this universe. And that once it was over, that was the end of the first age. And then you went into the second age. So the first age was actually only about 500 to 600 years. Your second age was almost 3,000 years because the second age ended at the end of the War of the Alliances, which was that war with Sauron, where Isildur cuts the ring off his hand. That was the end of that age. Then you went into your third age. The third age ended, whatever. Well, the beginning of Lord of the Rings, where they did that.
I know. I know.
That was the end of the third age. The second age. The end of the third age was at the end of the War of the Rings, which was the one with Frodo and everybody. And that was, again, another 3,000 year long age because of the big historical event that happened.
Yeah.
But that's just how they built that around. So to think that he didn't that I know of, and that anybody's mentioned, even my grandma who's read all these appendices books that this is based off of, which are basically books that he kind of wrote on the side that predate the trilogy. He never really wrote about the hobbits prior to the third age. They were alive, like they did exist in the Middle Earth, but he didn't write about any of them specifically.
Yeah. So
their whole timeline in the show of the hobbits is kind of their own thing. They're kind of just going with it and creating that whole thing. So there's no thing in there for me to really critique because they've kind of just gone with it. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty cool so far. And overall, my consensus of the show is that I don't have anything super negative to say about it. I think the way they filmed it, the way they created the universe again is done beautifully. There's nothing that I thought was super CGI'd like The Hobbit. I mean, obviously there's CGI in it, but there was nothing that looked video gamey to me. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, I would say that we talked to a few people. They're like, yeah, you can tell there's a lot of CG, and I was like, oh no, The Hobbit was nothing but that, which again is not an issue. It's just, I'm going to step in real quick and I'll pause it. And basically what I'm going to say is that Lord of the Rings was created at a certain time. Hobbit was way after in the future is what I'm saying is CG. And then this is both done at before the Lord of the Rings of Power and the Hobbit. So when you see a lot of CG and a new age kind of looking stuff, it's like, wow, this kind of feels weird. They did it with like Star Wars when they showed episode 1, 2, 3. You saw a little more. But I would say the orcs and some of the just like the characters that are, orcs, I guess, they looked legit like what I remember Lord of the Rings had.
Yeah, and they really over CGI'd them in The Hobbit, and that was abundantly clear. But what I was trying to get to the point before that, and I literally lost my head, was the one that people kept pointing out was the Hobbits, but then it was the guy who's playing Arondir. I looked at my phone because I had to make sure I said his name right. Arondir. He was an elf in another spot in Middle Earth that they're following his timeline, and he's a Stelvin elf. I'm saying that wrong because I don't have it in front of me, but he's basically like a grower. His gift is that he can like grow things, like help the trees grow and the grass grow, and they have other gifts. There are different kind of elves that have different kind of powers or gifts, and they're kind of just following this timeline. He's a made up character. He's just an elf in another part of Middle Earth, and he's got this community of men and women around him and other elves, and there's a girl that he's supposedly, they're kind of a love interest, and it is, I wouldn't call it taboo, but it's not, a lot of elves don't go for a long-term relationship with a human woman, or they don't want one of those. I don't want to say want, how am I trying to say this? They don't pursue it. There we go. They don't pursue it because humans are mortal and elves are technically immortal. When they're done with their time on Middle Earth, they will sail back to Valinor, the Undying Lands, and they will live forever. Mortals cannot do that. Humans cannot do that. Now, the elves can decide to live a mortal life and stay in Middle Earth. They will eventually die. They will still live much longer than an average human. But that's why it's not really heard of, is not even like really heard of, but it's not something that they want to pursue, is because they will outlive them. So this is kind of like a made up love story, but it does kind of mirror Arwen and Aragorn's relationship, even though Aragorn was a Dunedain, Numenorean descent, which I'll kind of talk about briefly. But anyways, they're a complete made up storyline, but I've enjoyed it. I thought it's an interesting storyline of what's going on there. They're seeing a lot of the evil come back into Middle Earth that they thought they had extinguished. I really enjoyed him. The only thing I'll say that I don't care, it's not that I don't care for it, but that is portrayed wrongly, is you would not see an elf with short hair. So elves would always have long hair, and that's because they're considered and always depicted by Tolkien as ethereal beings. They would be they would be way above humans in terms of they could withstand more than humans. Their body would be fit. They would be stronger. They're immortal. So obviously you can kill them, but if no one intends to kill you, you're going to live forever, essentially. Yeah. So they would always have long, healthy hair. Their body would give them the ability to do that. They wouldn't continuously cut their hair, because to keep their hair nice and neat, how elves would want to be portrayed, they would have to cut it super often. And they're in Middle Earth fighting battles and doing things like that's not what they're going to be worried about. And also they used their hair to make the bowstrings on bow and arrows. So, because their hair was really, really strong material, and that's how they created some of the bowstrings. And that was a lot of their choice weaponry, was bow and arrows, or even just to hunt or anything like that. It was bow and arrows. So they also did that with Elrond. This is where I'm going to get in. I know I'm like losing time here. Elrond, I actually really like the guy who they have playing him. I feel like he's doing a good job, but he has short hair and it's blondish. Elrond was definitely depicted as having long, dark hair and dark eyes. So he would have had long hair and it would have been dark, like you would have seen him portrayed in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. He's also acting a little boyish. And he wouldn't have been boyish. He was actually born in the First Age. He would be about 1,000 years old at this point. And he was considered one of the chief elves that stayed in Middle-earth after the end of the First Age. So while Gil-galad, which is the high elf that you would see in the show, who they're kind of answering to, he was a mentor to Elrond, but Elrond wasn't boyish, even though he's kind of being portrayed that way. He's not. But I'm enjoying his character, and his storyline's super interesting. He's, talking with the dwarves right now at Cosma Doom, and that's, I've really enjoyed that.
The dwarves are always amazing.
Oh, yeah. I always enjoy
the characters. They bring a little bit of the comedic side of Lord of the Rings.
And the back and forth between the elves and the dwarves, just always good. Always good, yeah. The two things that I'm going to mention while I still have time that was not in agreement on was how Galadriel has been portrayed so far. Galadriel, first of all, was married in the Second Age. So there's a big missing character. His name is Celeborn, and he's big. He's big not because he's married to her, but because of who he was. He played a very integral part in the Second Age, not just with her, but with Elrond and with Gil-galad and within the Second Age and how they fought the War of the Alliances. He's a big character for them not to have. And right now, he's not even cast in this first season. That has been told. Now, they haven't aired all the seasons, and I think they're keeping some things close to the chest. But it would be a monumental mistake to not introduce him in this series. And for several reasons, but the biggest one is he is married to Galadriel, and they have a daughter named Celebrane, who they give birth to in about 300 years into the Second Age, who later goes on to marry Elrond. And they have twin sons, and they also give birth to Arwen, who eventually becomes Aragorn's wife. So this would be a mistake to not eventually bring him into the storyline. So that already kind of put me off just a little bit on her storyline. And mind you, this would not have taken away from her being a strong leading female, because when Tolkien depicted elves, they were very equal gender roles were very equal. You would never see him write down about a woman like at all, but especially not an elven woman. They were very much considered just as highly praised as the men. They were very highly sought after for their wisdom and their strength and their knowledge. And that was something Galadriel was known for. She was known for her knowledge, her beauty. She was known as one of the most knowledgeable and beautiful elves left in Middle Earth and even in Valinor when she was in the Undying Lands. And so even in Lord of the Rings, she definitely took precedent over Celeborn then, because he was in Lord of the Rings. They were married, and you did see both of them at in Lothlorien, because they both ruled over Lothlorien together. So that's kind of disappointing, especially because they're trying to introduce a human male as a love interest for her, which would completely derail her storyline, even if they did have some kind of emotional affair or whatever. That never happened. Completely never happened, and that's disappointing that they're trying to write that in. Another thing is that she never got on a ship and almost made it back to the Undying Lands and then jumped off and went back to Middle Earth. At the end of the First Age, and after they started rebuilding and helping regrow some of Middle Earth after the war, most of the elves went back to the Undying Lands, and then they also had the choice to stay if they wanted to. I'm gonna finish. A host of them stayed and went to the east, and then your big chief elves that stayed were Elrond, Celeborn, Gil-galad, Celebrimir, I'm saying his name wrong, and Galadriel. And so they gave that option: are you staying or are you going? We're staying. They never came up to Galadriel and said, your job is done. You've done an amazing job. We're gifting you the chance to go back to the west. And even though she didn't, she got on the ship, got there, and then jumped off. That absolutely never happened. She was not an indecisive person. She was very much revered for her knowledge and wisdom, and that wouldn't have happened. I did enjoy how they portrayed the sky opening up as they were going into Valinor. That was pretty cool, but it wasn't accurate. That never happened. So that's disappointing. I hope that they will eventually correct that. They have to. She's going to have to marry Celeborn if they're going to continue on with this series. Okay. They can't not introduce that character. And I have to say this last one, because you're going to talk about it too, is they had, when the skies opened up, this big like comet thing comes in the sky, lands in where the hobbits are, lands in the ground, and it's a man laying there in this crater with like fire around him, and we're not sure who he is, but a lot of people are thinking he might be Gandalf. He is not Gandalf, and if he is Gandalf, they are very much mistaken in trying to introduce him as this, because he was not dispatched to Middle Earth until the Third Age, and he was specifically dispatched in Middle Earth in the Third Age to assist in the journey to reclaim the Lonely Mountain, and then to assist in the war that was coming with Sauron and Saruman. That was his purpose. And Radagast the Brown was also dispatched to Middle Earth at that time to do the same. There are two blue wizards, Alistar and Palalala, can't say his name, sorry. They were said to be dispatched at some point in the Second Age or Third Age. But by dispatch, they were not just thrown into the sky like a comet and they landed. They were on a ship and they sailed to Middle Earth. He was dressed in gray. He was clothed in gray. He was depicted as an old man. That is how they dispatched him to Middle Earth. He wasn't like basically naked and confused and couldn't talk. Yeah. So I'm really hoping they're not like really just. I don't know. I'm hoping he's a made up character, because he can't even be Sauron. Some people are saying maybe he's Sauron, but Sauron didn't even know that hobbits really existed. Yeah. And Sauron's actually already been introduced, because he helped Morgoth during the war in the First Age. So he's in Middle Earth somewhere, hiding out, doing something evil. But that's the end. Sorry, I'll have more to say later. Andrew's probably going to strangle me.
Dear Goodness gracious.
I didn't even touch on half of what I wanted to talk about.
I know you didn't. But here's the thing. There's probably 50% of the people have no clue what you're talking about.
I'm pretty sure I just spoke a different language.
They probably have turned it off. So everyone listening, it's done. We're done. We're good. We're moving forward. I'm glad you're passionate about it. I honestly, I was telling you this other day, I really don't have anything besides like playing golf or doing, fantasy football, which is all just seasonal things that I'm passionate about. I love that you're passionate about it. You literally have done nothing but talk about this for the last week. Every time I look over, you're reading some kind of article. I love that you're into it, but dear goodness, we're done. Okay, for tonight. All in all, I will say what I thought real quick. I thought it was very well made, well done, and well made.
They spent $1 billion on it. It should have been well made.
The cinematography was insane. The CG, like I said, didn't look like crazy CG. There's some stories that I did look over, and I was like, "Is this in a book?" You're like, "No," but it's actually these are good storylines, which we knew they were going to do. And
Tolkien left that open for people to be able to do.
Exactly. And you just don't know. I mean, any book, you don't know what's happening while something else is happening. So you can be creative as long as you respect, in my opinion, which could they be right now? Yes. We don't know where it's going to lead, but
as long as these actors and characters are portraying the species that they're supposed to be, and they're, I would say, honoring Tolkien's legacy by staying true to those characters and staying true to, what an elf would be like or a dwarf would be like or, anything like that, then hopefully it will veer in the right direction and they won't take it in a highly unpleasant direction.
Yeah. Well, cool. We're done. Not in a negative way, but we're done.
No, I know. A lot of people literally have no idea what I just said.
No,
and it's okay.
I don't know what you just said. I mean, I kind of know. Their names just all run together. Sauron, Galadriel, Madriel, Mermaid. I don't know. They all just they all just sound. Anyways, but yeah, we watched it. I would say we enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. A lot of questions that we're going to attend later after we finished it. But I'm excited because football season has come. I love...
I know when football season comes because Andrew's phone literally becomes attached to his hip and he's constantly chatting with his fantasy football leagues.
Yes.
How many teams do you have?
Okay, so real quick, briefly, because I could talk about this for a long time.
You don't have to name the teams. Just tell me how many.
I am in 5 fantasy football leagues.
So he's the owner of 5 football teams for the next couple of months.
Yeah.
Some of them are dynasty leagues, so I guess he's
one is with work. We always do it every year. It's a redraft league, so it doesn't matter who you draft this year. Next year will be all reset. The other 4, I started a fantasy football dynasty league. I stepped down as the commissioner and gave it to 2 other guys, but I'm still in that. I won that last year, so I felt like, you know what? I'm the champion. I'll kind of let somebody else try to win. I'm in a good friends family dynasty league, and then I was invited to 2 dynasty leagues. The first one is best ball, which means your whole team, your lineup and your bench, no matter what they do, all your points count towards it. So you don't have to really change your lineup. All you have to do is just make sure you have the players that you want. So there's a lot of trading. There's a lot of waiver wire pickups and drops.
That's
kind of
cool.
Like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's by most I circled that one just because I did have a pretty big buy-in for that. She's just now finding out about that, but if I win almost $1,000, so that would be kind of cool. But yeah, and I'm in that league with a couple buddies of mine, and then I just got invited about a couple weeks ago to join a league with a team that is the previous owner dropped out. And they're like, we really need somebody. And this team was just horrendous. So they said I didn't have to pay my first year's buy-in. Just because of how bad this team was. And so I'm turning it around, probably still getting last, which will help next year's because of drafts and all that. But, yeah, fantasy football is here. It's back. We had the first game last night.
We did watch
it. It was cool. The Bills and the Rams. The Bills look dangerous.
Their defense looked insane.
Yeah, their defense looks really good. But, yeah, the football's back. I'm excited. Carolina football's back. We got the W in the first week. We played Georgia State, which was not they're not a team just to kind of go, a cupcake. No, they're not a cupcake team as much as some of these other fans think that maybe they were. But we beat them 35-14, I think it was. 10 or 14, I can't remember. I think it was 14. Anyways, but we're playing Arkansas this week. So when this episode comes out, I will already know if we won or not. But hopefully we won. And then we play Georgia, which I know for a fact. Don't want to talk bad about Carolina, but Georgia looks insane. So
is that this weekend?
No, next weekend.
Next weekend.
And we have a wedding, so I'm kind of glad I don't have to watch it. Because then I'll just get notifications on how much they destroyed us.
I do that with the Atlanta Braves sometimes. If we're playing a really good team, I'm just like, thank goodness we have a wedding. I'll just get the notifications. I won't have to watch it go down the drain. Yeah,
which they're playing right now. Go ahead, check.
I got a notification a few minutes ago that Dansby hit a 2-run homer in the top of the first. So I was really excited about that.
Good job, Dansby.
Yeah.
So is it 2-0?
Yeah, right now it is.
Nice.
Yep.
Cool. And they're doing pretty awesome right now, aren't they?
They're doing pretty good right now. They're on a 7-game winning streak. They swept the last 2 series they did, and
yeah. So who knows what can happen?
Who knows?
But yeah, football's back. Very excited, and can't wait. We have weddings on Saturdays, so a lot of times I don't get to watch a lot of college football. When we don't have a wedding, like this weekend, Erin is so awesome. She'll let me have football on all day, and the boys are boys, so they'll grab their iPads if they don't want to watch it.
Or they'll go upstairs and play in the loft.
Yeah, something like that. So,
but Saint will be napping during the Carolina game tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, he will.
It'll just be Lion and Captain, and I can entertain them.
And it's funny because, like, last year we watched the bowl game, and Captain sat in my lap, and every time I said, "Let's go," he would repeat and go, "Let's go."
That's true.
And then I would go, "Woo!" and he would go, "Woo!" I'm trying not to yell in the mic. So
yeah, he was cute.
Yeah, it was a cool time to watch the game with him. It was kind of fun. I'm excited for them to kind of grow up, and maybe they'll have.
He'll probably watch it with you tomorrow a little bit. Mm-hmm. You start getting excited if they start playing well, and he'll get all excited for you. But if you get mad, he'll be like, "Daddy's sad? Yeah. Daddy, why are you sad?"
I'll be like, "Football," and then he'll start laughing at me and go, "You silly."
Yeah, he'll go, "Football, you silly."
So, but yeah, it's it's football season. I'm excited about it. So.
Is that all? You ready to go to the top or favorite 5?
Let's do it. Let's go to favorite 5.
Cool. You're gonna go first, right?
Yeah, I'll go first. Because apparently you have some picks that might shock me.
I have a pick that's gonna shock you. I only have one that's gonna shock you. I don't think any of the other ones are.
Well, because we talked about TV and stuff like that, we were gonna do favorite television shows, but that's just massively broad, and so
it's also really in depth. So we might from here on out we might do like. Specific genres like your favorite drama, your favorite kind of what we're doing today he's about to tell you, but just different like categories of TV shows, because just to say TV shows, you're right, I
mean it's so many,
it's so broad, and I mean so hard.
But we're gonna do sitcoms, and so the episodes, the shows that we were talking about we will announce that are in our favorite 5.
They're considered sitcoms, so you can just look them up. I was never a huge sitcom watcher. I had like a handful that I watched, but I always preferred more in-depth TV shows. But I do have a couple that I think will be pretty good.
But yeah, so my top 5 are shows that I can watch. I've literally watched through. I think all of them I've at least watched through 5 times.
Okay.
And so I've watched through them. I have a handful of honorable mentions that I might throw out there that I really like. And there's a lot of sitcoms. Like, I mean, there's like, it's not in my top. Like Home Improvement to me is like a legendary sitcom. It's not in my favorite 5, but like it's a good one. You have like the Full House, Family Matters kind of vibe, or Big Bang Theory and 70s Show or something like that.
The Big Bang Theory is another one that I never really I watched it and I've seen it on TV and I've watched a handful of episodes here and there, and I know the gist of it. I know how it starts. I know how it ends. I've seen the last episode, but I never really connected with it.
You know what really shocked me, and not in a negative way? Solace really likes that show.
I know. I remember him saying that.
And when he said he watched it all the way through, and so I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
See, Solace, I mentioned you in the podcast. Anyways,
he's the first person I thought of when I thought about Big Bang Theory.
I did too. And I remember him telling me he watched the the series finale, and I was just like, whoa. But yeah. Anyways, going to go start. We're gonna get going, and sorry y'all, I'm getting it set. There we go. So my favorite 5 sitcoms. Number 5, I'm gonna go with How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
I kind of started watching that when it very first came out. I remember watching it on CBS weekly. Probably after the first 2 seasons, I started watching it, weekly. But love the show. There's a lot of awesome moments in it. A lot of people don't like how it ended. I didn't mind it. I do feel like they could have gone another series of maybe, spoiler if you haven't seen it. Another season. I keep saying series. Yeah. Anyways.
I was just making sure that you were on the same page there.
They could have gone another season of maybe, or half a season of him dating the mom, get to know her a little bit, but, it ended the way it did.
I agree. Fun. I would have liked to see maybe even a whole season of that storyline,
the relationship, because they had up and downs and stuff like that, and if you watch the show, she got sick, and maybe
it would have made it a lot more heart. I feel like that would have really been more of an emotional, gripping, season had they made it a whole season, and then done one more season, and you could see her decline, and then the eventual death.
But you got Barney, you got Marshall, all of them. They were just a great cast, great, a great show. Number 4 is Parks and Rec. I would have had it higher, but my next 3 is they just hit different. I was telling you earlier, Parks and Rec is one of those shows that's so good, and I really enjoy it. I sometimes tend to forget about it. And then I'm like, okay. And then I start watching it. I'm like, this is just brilliant.
It's so good.
So good.
Yeah.
And then because I end up going to, another show, which is, we all know what it is, but I'm not going to say.
I think it's going to be your number 1.
Probably so. Maybe. Who knows? Parks and Rec, number 4. Again, love the cast. Think it's great. All the characters in it are so unique. Just very well done. Number 3 is New Girl. I love New Girl. Again, I'm really big on characters. I love Nick, Schmidt, and Winston.
I honestly think that after the second season, they could have done the show without Zooey Deschanel. And I don't mean that. I don't mean that badly, because she was a good addition to the cast. But the guys just dominate.
Well, it's just so funny. The show was supposed to be all about her, but then you could kind of tell it gradually goes towards Nick.
Well, especially when she takes that maternity leave. Zooey Deschanel takes a maternity leave for that half that season, and Megan Fox comes in. I didn't super care for Megan Fox's character.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy the guys.
Well, Nick shined. Season 3, Winston shined like crazy. Schmidt, in my
Winnie the
opinion,
Bish. I love him.
The episode where his boss or the police officers coming over to kind of do an in-home interview. It's amazing.
And she thinks it's meth, and it's just this crystal.
It's
something.
Crystals you put in aquariums.
Yeah.
So hilarious. Good. Oh, so good. But all characters. Schmidt. It's just a brilliant character.
And honestly, I don't think he's a character you thought you were going to be like, he's one of my favorites at the first season. But second season on, you're just like, he is hilarious. He was hilarious in the first season, but it's just, as the show grew, those guys grew with it. Yeah. They did a good job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And my hands down, one of my favorite moments, I could do a favorite 5 on the moments in New Girl was when he and Cece got married. Yes. The song they chose, the atmosphere they chose, which was the apartment, and then when they grabbed a douche jar because he's Jewish and he stepped on it for his ritual or whatever they do.
Yeah, where they step on it before they walk down the aisle.
Exactly, it was just brilliant.
Yeah,
it's like every single moment that went on in that.
Well, even so how they ended the season before it with the song. What's the name of the band? You remember how they ended the season?
Oh, Rivers and Roads.
Yeah. And with the picture and all that. Because at the beginning of the season, they had been going to all the different weddings and wedding receptions and trying to hook up with people. But then at the end of the season, they had taken all of the like save the dates and invitations off the refrigerator except for Cece and
it was like a Post-it note.
It was just a Post-it note, that Cece and Schmidt got engaged.
But yeah, awesome. So New Girl's number 3 for me. So good. Number 2, Friends, hands down. I cannot tell you how many times we have watched through that whole show. I mean, easily in the 20s.
Oh, yeah.
Easily. Just everything about it. And a lot of people go, are you kidding me? They're just a bunch of,
This is only a new age opinion, and it's because this new generation of people has started watching it, and now it's become this big like joke. I think, and it's unfortunate because this TV show really is something special, and because this new generation has kind of watched it and they make this big deal about it. It used to be like a nostalgic thing where everybody's like, oh my gosh, you watch Friends too, and now it's like everybody over the age of 12 watches Friends. Yeah. And so it's become a big joke, but it's not. It's really a good show.
It's a really amazing show. I mean, characters, real quick, that I love. I mean, Joey and Chandler's relationship together is just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just so good. Phoebe's carefree character. I mean, it's just so good. I love it.
It's a good, lighthearted, just easy show to watch.
And it's so good because like I'll put it on while I'm editing and be listening to it and then just start cracking up laughing because I remember what's going on and I've seen it so many times I still laugh.
And it's so funny because like one episode Joey's your favorite and then Chandler's your favorite again, but it always goes back and forth between those two for me. They're just always my two favorite.
Yeah, I mean all of them are good, but it's just like those characters are just the
facial expressions, the like dry sarcasm of Chandler and the like naive whatever, the naive way that Joey like goes into things, but then he's actually kind of smart about some things. It's just really funny.
Number 1, and you already know what it is, and then I just think it's hands down just the best sitcom TV show, probably our TV show altogether. It's the GOAT in my opinion. Is The Office. There's just no way around it. It's The Office. Steve Carell, Rainn Wilson, John Krasinski, Jenna Fisher, all of them the characters that they play, Jim, Dwight, Michael, Pam, and so on. Just brilliant. The dry humor, the interview style, talking head style portion that's in the show is just so good, and it's so cool because like if you like podcasts, I would definitely recommend the podcast that Jenna Fisher does, and I cannot think of her name. It's Angela Kinsley, maybe. I can't remember.
She's funny,
but it's called The Office Ladies, I believe is what it's called. I should know this, but I listen to it. They break down every single episode. It's from season 1 all the way to the end. Now I'm a little behind in it because I've listened to a bunch of them, but like they literally point out some of the craziest things, like from where this person does their talking head interview, why they do it in front of a window, why they do it behind a wall, why they do it in front, of the boat, not in the back of the boat. In the episode, it's just so good, and the writing is so good, which is also the writers for Parks and Rec, which is again very similar style, talking head interview style. But The Office to me is just like it cannot be touched. I used to kind of go between The Office and Friends and go stupid little fly, little nap. But The Office to me is just so good. So I don't think anything could beat that for me. So
Okay.
top 5 for me: How I Met Your Mother, Parks and Rec, New Girl, Friends, and The Office. I will say my 2 honorable mention. I have to. I love Community.
Okay.
It's really well done. I just love that style. And I love Scrubs. Scrubs was one of those in high school when I watched with buddies. I love Zach Braff. I think he's just great. And the guy, I can't think of his name, but the guy that plays Turk, their relationship is so good. But yeah, that's my favorite 5 with some honorable mentions. Go ahead.
My turn. Okay. So my number 5 is Golden Girls.
Okay.
I knew it was going to shock you.
Here we go. Golden Girls, Betty White, and I don't know the rest.
Okay, listen. So I grew up in a house with women, and my grandma was a night owl and still is. She would be up all night and sleep all day. And I would say unfortunately, but it was really fun. So it's not unfortunate that she gifted me that same desire. So we would stay up at night and wait for Golden Girls and the Nanny to come on TV, and we would watch Golden Girls and the Nanny.
Nice.
And they both, the Nanny is one of my honorable mentions. It's not on my top, but I think it's, hilarious. It's very nostalgic for me. But the Golden Girls is very nostalgic. And if it's, which we don't really have cable, but if it's on TV at my mom's house, I'm watching the Golden Girls.
Nice. That's
I
cool.
love it. So I knew that was going to shock you.
That one shocked me.
Yeah.
It did.
I blame it all on my grandma.
Yeah.
Her and Lifetime Movie Network. It's not. It used to not be Movie Network. It just used to be Lifetime, and they played different shows. Golden Girls also came on, I think, like Nick at Night at one point, and then it moved on to like TV Land or something. Anyway, so that's my number 5. My number 4 is New Girl.
New Girl, nice.
Yep, is New Girl for the same reasons that we've already said. It would probably be higher had the last season been better. They rushed the ending of it. I don't know if they got the thing that, hey, this is your last season, you have to cram it all in. But it, the last couple episodes were a little disappointing for me. I didn't like how they ended her and Nick's how they got married. I don't know. It all just seemed kind of rushed. So I didn't feel like they really gave tribute to that relationship at all. So, and I think Cece and Schmidt's relationship shined over theirs, which stinks, but it did.
It did. Yeah, I agree with that.
So anyways, that's the only reason that it's where it's at. I almost didn't put it on there. My other show that's not on there, that's honorable mention, is How I Met Your Mother. It was going to be on there in place of New Girl, but because I watch New Girl more than How I Met Your Mother, it's only fair that I put New Girl on there. My number 3 is Parks and Rec. Same reason. It's one of those shows, like I told Andrew, I used to go back between, do I like The Office or I like Parks and Rec more? And it's because I would watch The Office and I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And then I'd watch Parks and Rec and I'd be like, this is hilarious. But they did it so well. My number 2 is The Office. So The Office does trump Parks and Rec. Not the first season. The first season, The Office, is very hard for me to watch. Michael in general is hard for me to watch sometimes. I have really bad secondhand embarrassment, so he really makes me cringe sometimes. His whole relationship with, who is it? What's her name? I always forget it.
Oh, gosh. If you wouldn't have asked.
Why did I want to call her Janice? That's not her name.
No.
But she looks like a Janice.
Jan.
That's why. Anyways, yeah, their whole relationship, she made me cringe. I don't know. Anyways, the reason it's not number 1 is because that's not a show I liked prior to dating you. And it was because I had seen 1 or 2 episodes from the first season on TV. Because
you did not like it.
No, because people told me, people talked this show up this show's so good, you should watch it. And it was on TV and I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. And it was just in my head, I was like, this is so dry. What's going on? And honestly, I don't think I really gave it a shot. I think I kind of went into it thinking, I'm not going to like this. I don't know why anybody else likes it. And then you convinced me to watch it, and we had to start on season 3 because you're like, Erin, if you start on season 3, we finish it, then you can go back and watch season 1 and 2 and you'll get through it. And that's the only reason I like it. And Dwight, I feel like, stole my heart. I don't know, he's just hilarious. I felt like in the way that his character grew throughout the seasons, I thought was just really well done.
Yeah, I would say, and some people might fight me when I say this, I think his character stayed true from episode 1 all the way to the last episode, and Rainn Wilson didn't change the way he acted for Dwight. He stayed.
Yeah.
You know, Pam and Jim had their up and downs. If you've seen this show, you could see the different way of
portraying that character.
Well, portraying the character and how that character kind of went and had its up and downs, which is part of it. Don't get me wrong; it's part. People grow, but Dwight stayed.
You always know what to expect from Dwight, always.
Yeah.
But his character did grow in terms.
Oh, it grew.
In terms of there was maturity there. He grew into maturity that the Dwight in the first season didn't have.
Yeah.
But he grew in that way, but you always knew what to expect from Dwight. Like, it never was a shock that Dwight did something outrageously, like, dumb or funny.
Yeah, you never knew what he was going to do based upon what...
but you knew it was going to be crazy.
Yeah.
You knew it was going to be entertaining.
I'm very interested to hear your number 1.
It's Friends.
Friends, okay.
Yes.
I get that.
And the reason Friends trumped The Office for me is because Friends was something I watched way longer than Friends. I watched it prior to dating you. It was something, I mean...
I watched it way longer than The Office.
That's what I was saying. I watched it way longer than The Office, and I had watched it prior to dating you. So The Friends is something that I just honestly happened upon on TV because, again, when I was in high school, nobody was really watching Friends. Like, this is a new era kind of thing where everybody wants to watch the stuff that, like, their parents and their grandparents like watched. This is like a whole new trend thing people are doing, which is fine. Hey, cool. Go watch all those things. Get educated on the different things that were around back way before you were. I think that's, a great way to see how the evolution of TV and everything has occurred. But when I was in high school, we were watching the new stuff that was coming out. We weren't watching the old stuff because that was lame. But it was on TV, and I wanted something to watch, and I was like, I'll just put Friends on, and I was hooked.
Yeah.
Loved it. I was waiting on the next episode to come out because at this time it was not on like Netflix or anything like that. Yeah. You either had the DVDs of it or you had to wait for it to come on Nick at Night or TBS.
Yeah.
And I first saw it on Nick at Night, and then I realized, oh my God, it's on TBS too. I know, because I'm a millennial, whatever. I figured out it was on TBS and I would watch it during the day too.
Well, when I started watching it, I think there was only 2 seasons left. Like, I did not start watching it from the get go. It was one of those. A buddy of mine was watching it because he just finished watching Scrubs, and he was just like, dude, watch Friends. This is hilarious. It's so good. And so I did. When Netflix sent DVDs, I did, instead of doing streaming, they did DVDs.
Blockbuster used to do that too.
Yeah, I would get Friends DVDs, watch them as I can, and send them back. And I remember, like, I got caught up, and it was like the middle of season 9, so we had the rest of that one, and then the last season, I think, was 10. Anyways,
it was well and truly done by the time I had first started watching it. Like, the whole series had ended, I think, in 2006,
something like that. I don't know,
5. It was something like that. And I mean, I didn't start watching it till I was in high school, so we're talking like 2000 and 10 or 11, 12, something like that.
Yeah.
So,
well, cool. Good top 5s. I know we went into it going, I'm not sure, but it came pretty quick.
Yeah.
When I looked up, just to make sure I didn't miss any shows, when I looked up like sitcoms, I was like, oh yeah. And I was like, that one.
My other honorable mention was That 70s Show.
Yeah.
I forgot to say it. I used to watch That 70s Show all the time. Loved it. And I still really enjoy it. I think it's funny. It's kind of got that talking head vibe too, because they do come in. It's not an interview style, but like you'll see just them talking like to themselves. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I have nothing against it. I've only seen maybe an episode or 2 while I'm waiting to get my car fixed.
Well, it wasn't, so it's not like interview style. It was like they would all sit in a circle in the basement, and it would go like just one shot of him, one shot of them.
Yeah.
That was
unique. Yeah, that is unique.
It's one of the reasons I like the Golden Girls is a majority of their show was them around their kitchen table, like talking about stuff or like going banter, and it just, they were funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Good top 5. What was your 5 again?
It was Golden Girls. New Girl, Parks and Rec, Office, Friends. And then my honorable mentions were How I Met Your Mother, That 70s Show, and The Nanny.
Yeah. Yeah. It was tough. It was tough to narrow them down. I had a few others I could have put in even my honorable mention.
There's a few that I even forgot I used to watch, like What I Like About You, that had Amanda
Bynes?
Yeah, Amanda Bynes. She played in it.
I don't know that one.
It was only 4 seasons. It played on the WB, and it was I loved it. And I mean, it was definitely like a teenager kind of. Well, it was more young adult. I would say like 18-year-old, 18 and over at that time. Now, you know.
Yeah, I will say this, and I'm going to say this now: Friends is better than Seinfeld, and that's it. Done. I don't care what anyone else thinks.
Agreed.
Friends is better than Seinfeld, and we're moving on. Well, I think it was an awesome episode. Kind of cool. We talked a little bit about, we talked a lot about Lord of the Rings, a little about my golfing that I did today. Football's back, and went into some cool favorite five stuff. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching and
we have
listening.
Some cool Halloween stuff coming up for October. There's going to be some really interesting podcasts, so definitely check those out. We will probably put some disclaimers at the front because they're going to be a little murder mystery kind of stuff.
There you go. It's
not crazy stuff. But some people don't like murder mystery stuff, so we want to give you the heads up before you go into the podcast.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, I don't want to hear that, and then they can move forward to the favorite five.
You can just fast forward to our favorite five, because our favorite fives will still be good. You'll still be, you know, whatever.
But yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Those are listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, where you can find our podcast. Subscribe, please.
I'm so proud of you for remembering our listeners.
I know. I've been very bad. While I'm editing these episodes, I'm like, Andrew, you keep saying thanks for watching, or hey, look at this, so I apologize once again to the listeners, which I believe is there's more listeners than watchers.
Probably.
Because, anyways.
I need some kind of like input from you guys, because if everyone says you don't watch it, I'm going to stop like putting makeup on. I'm just saying. I'm
going to stop doing my hair.
Yeah. I'm just like, I might just like honestly just put a big blanket over my whole body and just, you don't even have to see me.
We are doing a Halloween episode. So.
It's true.
Anyways.
I could be a ghost.
That would be kind of funny.
That's Captain. Every morning he comes in, he puts his pillowcase on his head and he goes, Mommy, ghost. Ooh.
And we're half asleep going,
I'm like, Bubba, super spooky.
And then he goes, hey, zombie? And I'm, no, Daddy, I'm not. I said, no, Bubba, I'm not a zombie.
Well, it's debatable.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for listening, like I said. And please subscribe to our page on YouTube. We got a handful of subscribers, so thank y'all for those that have subscribed. But definitely subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. I don't know why I'm going to say like us on Facebook, because apparently Facebook's not cool anymore. But
yeah, it's not cool anymore. Do we even have? No, we do.
Yeah, and we have a TikTok.
TikTok.
I've been posting on there some the reels and stuff. So yeah, if you catch us on all platforms, just search while our kids are sleeping.
And I think it's cool and mature to have, hands in all platforms, just so that, you know what's up.
Okay.
So don't feel like you're old.
Oh my gosh.
I was just trying to make you feel better, because we all do know that you're a little older. It's okay though.
All right. Well, anyways, moving on. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. We are excited about where this is going, and please do comment below if you want us to talk or chat about any kind of topic, or anything. So comment below. If to be honest with you, the first person to comment on an actual legit topic, we will do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it
but whatever anything. Topic it is. We got to put a line there, don't we?
Well, we'll. You
guys know.
Yeah, the yeses and nos of what we can do. So.
Yes, let's.
We could do a lot. There's not a lot that we will say no to, but at the same time.
If you know, anyways. You know. But anyways, so.
Thanks for watching, and definitely thank you for listening to While Our Kids Are Sleeping. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Good job. Okay.